Hey, everybody, we're here for a new episode of the show that is yet to be named. Today, we are talking three Marvel storylines that we want made into TV or movie like we did with DC. I'm here with JD777. I'm here with Puttyman, P Papa Putty. You know how he does. And check out their stuff. It'll be in the description. But we're just going to get right into this. And just to let everybody know, we thought we did this video, but we didn't. We did an individual storyline pitch. So none of those stories will be in these three that we have chosen each. None of those ones from the other one will be in this. So we're just gonna go into this, and I guess JD go first.
Sure. My first one would be the superior Iron Man. As opposed to the last one, I did superior Spider-Man. I'm going with superior Iron Man. I kind of like the idea with Tony Stark being dead in this current iteration of the MCU. I want to see an evil Iron Man, just like a dick Iron Man.
I mean, he kind of was a dick.
Yes, but I mean like full evil.
Okay. Putty.
So for my first pitch, it's just simple. It's in the future, so it really would come back to it like another day. But I want to eventually see, once they've gotten the Fantastic Four through, I want to see the new Fantastic Four. I'm talking about Hulk, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. Ain't gonna happen, but it would be amazing to see that comic book come to life in a movie form, just because the chemistry between all the characters would be amazing. But my pitch, that eventually. Don't worry.
I just want to point out that this is the first time Putty ever said, I know that's not going to happen.
Usually he thinks everything's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, the pitches I'm about to come, I'm going to make these happen if I have to. If I ever become a millionaire.
Who's in that team again? I've never even heard of that.
I
read comics.
So what happened is the Fantastic Four were gone, and they needed new alumni from Fantastic Four. So Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk filled in those spots as a team of four.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was awesome.
No, maybe actually I do remember that, I think. Yeah. Is that when Spider-Man wore a bag on his head?
We'll get to that.
So, okay, I'll go with this one first. I have Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I talk about this all the time. You're probably tired of me talking about this, but I think this is the exact type of show that would work great as, or a story that would work great as a TV show. As a rated R thing, it's based around 3 volumes. You might even be able to stretch this into 3 seasons if you wanted, but I mean, you don't have to. You could do just 1 season, and it's so basically the main characters of this are Boomerang, Beetle, the female Beetle, Shocker, Speed Demon, and Overdrive. And basically what they are is they're the new Sinister Six. They don't really have a 6th member, but they tell people they have a 6th member so that it scares whoever they're fighting into thinking someone's going to sneak up on them whenever something happens. And basically the plot of this is they're trying to steal Silvermane's head, because whoever has Silvermane's head, it's like a myth that whoever has Silvermane's head is the head of the mafia. You run the whole thing if you have Silvermane's head, but it turns out that Silvermane's head is really a thing. And meanwhile, they're all secretly trying to kind of steal a painting that's of Dr. Doom's real face. So it's like, and they're all working together as a team, and they're dysfunctional, but they're also working against each other to get this stuff done. And I don't know, it's kind of like a comedy heist movie like Ocean's 11, and it has some good twists towards the end. But it's pretty well done, and it's basically about them all wanting to be relevant Superman villains, but they can't be. And while the Sinister Six is all locked up, they just decided they were the Sinister Six. Like, no one else recognizes them as that. So when other villains come along, like they fight with the chameleon and stuff, and it's kind of funny. It's mostly ground level, but I think it would work as a TV show, especially when you look at Pacemaker. When you look at Peacemaker, this is a perfect Marvel property for James Gunn. I don't want to keep giving things to James Gunn, but I'm gonna say it is. Or maybe even the guy who did Ant-Man, Peyton Reed, would probably be good with this.
I like that idea. Me? Yep. My next one, it's a proper House of M storyline.
That was what I was going to put as my third one too. Okay, I can't wait to hear yours.
I beat you. I just want to see the proper House of M. They kind of teased it with WandaVision. They're kind of teasing it with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But there's one key factor that is not in any of them that needs to be there, and that's Magneto.
Yep.
Magneto needs to be around. Like, I understand, like, Scarlet Witch, her twin brother, no more mutants, finding her lost children. All those elements are there, but it's missing that key part, and it's missing Magneto, and I need to see Magneto. Going back to our favorite Marvel list, Magneto needs to be there. I just need to see a proper Magneto.
And can we possibly bring back? I know it's weird, but let's just. I still would love to have Quicksilver back because I want to have that inertia that puts Scarlet Witch into what she does. Because remember, it was her brother that was the catalyst.
Exactly. They tried to do that with what's his name, Aaron Taylor Johnson, is it? In WandaVision, but that was just like we love saying, a red herring, right? It wasn't really him. It was some random guy named Boner.
But we have multiple.
Oh no, that was what's his name? That wasn't Aaron Taylor Johnson. That was the other guy.
Yeah,
it's a joke. He's joking. He did the last.
Yeah. I can't because I can't remember his name.
I know. Evan Peterson.
Evan Peterson. That's why I said Aaron Taylor Johnson. But Evan Peterson, the American Horror Story kid.
The better Quicksilver. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I still think he's the best one.
His Quicksilver scenes in the X-Men movies are amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But isn't Aaron Taylor Johnson playing another hero in another project?
You kick ass?
Yeah, he might be Craven.
No. Something
Craven. He's Craven.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He's going to be in Craven. Yeah,
he is Craven.
Okay.
Oh, he is. It's going to be. But I kind of like the idea of the No More Mutant storyline. So this way they can properly bring in the X-Men. It's a good way to introduce them. It's a good way to.
And I'm also going to send somebody to your video, by the way, Campo. And that person, you know who you are. This is the reason why you need to read this comic instead of just being a WandaVision fan, because another person agrees with me and knows the comics are better. Anyway, go ahead.
It's your turn.
Oh, okay. All right. So now we go into actual pitch meetings, a little bit smaller than this one. So listen. This is going to be a continuation of Spider-Man. Now, here's the thing. We just established No Way Home. Spider-Man gets the Venom suit. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to explain how he does, but, it's from another movie that exists now. And then we get the non-Bully Maguire Blake symbiote Spider-Man, where he begins to lose control. And this is without being noticed. Now, particularly, as he struggles and fights the symbiote, basically, he basically is try to find off and doesn't know what to do. Now we've established characters already in the universe that like to watch heightened things from space, things of that nature, and that brings it upon these people to find and track the symbiote. And when they do, they find a young man that is fighting, and as they're approaching him, he finally gets the symbiote off, based off the clock tower sound, and they find him in the corner by himself, crippled. And they're like, young man, come with us. We can help you. And he's like, I don't want to come out. And they're like, why? He goes, that symbiote was all I had. And they go, don't worry, we have a separate out for you, ready and available, just in case something like this happens. So they bring out a suit with a 4. I'm referring to the Fantastic Four. They are now in the universe, and they're here to help Spider-Man. But there's one situation. See, his identity has been shown before, and he's like, I don't want my face to be seen. They're like, listen, we don't wear masks. Well, I know this, but it's aware you guys don't wear masks, but I need a mask. So suddenly, this gentleman, Reed Richards, we'll call him that, finds something on the ground and hands it to this young man, aka Peter Parker, and he walks out. And well, you guys know, ladies and gentlemen, we get Bagman.
Ooh. When you said crippled, no more symbiote, I was hoping,
Venom.
Yeah.
Well,
I was hoping for Agent Venom.
I was actually trying to go for that. I was trying to go for that whole thing, like, oh my god, we're about to think, but I wanted to egg it on, so
the only thing I have with that is it's not even that bad. I'm not gonna even criticize your idea. I just don't know. Can you do that for a whole movie? Like, wouldn't he just be able to get another mask?
Well, see,
I think thing. That would work. That would work if the Fantastic Four are already in the MCU.
Yeah,
and you do it no, but not even that. Do it in one of the episodes of the second season of What If.
Well, yeah, but see, even in that, if you did a whole a movie with the Venom situation, not Venom, but the symbiote, because of the way they're setting up is it could have the symbiote come out, and this I was just joking around, but being serious now. The whole thing would be this: there'd be the whole symbiote story. He may fight somebody. We could even set up Mexican cards. Well, I don't think we should do that. But I'm saying we just do the whole Black Suit symbiote story. And then at the end, just like in the kind of like in Spider-Man 3, but instead of linking it to Venom, let's just let him get rid of the symbiote. Maybe even they could link that to Age of Venom kind of situation, but it would actually be a joke upon that as well to lead into the relationship between Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, because we know they have a huge relationship in the comic book. So I figured it's a funny way to kind of hint at it in the movie, where that there's gonna be a better plot, and that was just a side point. It's like an Easter egg, you know what I mean, that they could put in there for the fans. I just kind of like over exaggerated as a whole movie, which it wouldn't. But my pitch is basically the symbiote story mixed with one little Easter egg, even could be at the ending, which would be.
But I actually, if you did that as an episode of What If, that let people see the Fantastic Four as whoever it is, just to see it, because that's the thing. They did What If, but they didn't give us any characters that we don't already know. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they should give us What If now with some other, like, give us Xmen. It doesn't have. It's not supposed to be part of the universe. That's the whole thing. That's the problem. And the problem with it is, now that it is, they can't do that until those characters are introduced. Because that would be a great episode. Him without a mask, and the whole episode he's trying to escape villains wearing a paper bag. That would be awesome.
That would be pretty funny.
But okay, so I guess I'm next.
Go for it.
You know what? Not a bad idea, even though I hate friggin' your Bagman obsession. Not a bad idea.
I'm gonna see things. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was going to go for serious things, but the thing is I already knew when I got to number one, it was going to be very exaggerated. So I figured, let me just do one serious, one that's kind of ranging on the serious, and then you guys know what's coming next. So anyway, let's go.
Okay, so my next one is obviously you should have known it. It's the Rick Remender run of XForce, Uncanny XForce. So basically, this is an XForce team that's built off the books to do operations that the heroes don't want to do. So it's like a vigilante task force. It's Wolverine is the leader. They have Psylocke, Archangel, Deadpool, and Phantom X. And basically, this takes place in the universe, but it doesn't involve anybody really from the X-Men or the Avengers in terms of heroes, like, get in the way. It's a very contained story, and it's quite long. And I think you could easily get more than one movie out of this if you made it into a movie. Or if I think it's too big to do it as a show, honestly, unless you replace Wolverine with somebody else. And but even Deadpool is kind of too popular now to do that. Either way, basically Phantom X, they go on a mission because they find out that Apocalypse has been reborn. This is very early on, so don't worry about spoilers. And so they're looking for young Apocalypse. They find him. He's a child. They all have second guesses about what's going to happen. They don't want to kill him. They're arguing over what they should do, and then Phantom X just shoots him in the head. And basically, the rest of this series is just the ramifications of what happened here. And along the way, all types of things happen, and they end up going to, like, alternate timelines and universes, and they end up having Nightcrawler and Deathlock join the team. And that's, like, as they go down the line. And there's so much here. There's so much new ideas in this in comparison to what was happening at the time in Marvel. And Rick Remender really did a good job of adding things to the story and taking away things without hurting the next person that would come in to have these characters. Like, he doesn't have any significant deaths that hurt. And the people he brings in who may or may not die are mostly from other timelines that don't affect anything in the main timeline. And I think that it would just be a really good, darker, bloodier type of story.
And the characters in their work for that. They can actually go into that movie and not be out of their element when it comes to.
And you get a Captain Britain appearance.
I know.
JD.
Okay, mine. Originally I was going to go with the Annihilation storyline, but going back, I decided to go with the one that didn't make the list because Putty brought it to my attention. But I would love to see an Agent Venom run. I need Agent Venom. I need Flash Thompson. Takes place somewhere, you know, after maybe the 4th Spider-Man film. Flash Thompson gets, you know, he goes to war, loses his legs. The symbiote attaches himself to it. But what I would like to see would be like the Spider Island storyline where everybody is turned into like human spiders. And Agent Venom is the only one that like is not affected by it, him and Spider-Woman, so they can bring in Jessica Drew. I would love to see Jessica Drew in a Marvel.
And this could work if you take that storyline. So I'm sorry to cut you off. And you eliminate the Peter Parker factor.
Yeah, he's gone, right?
You can do this as a TV show. Like a long run TV show where they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Like some of the bigger names you may have to get rid of. Like, you know, you probably wouldn't be able to have Captain Marvel in there or Hulk because I know he's part of that storyline. But you can bring in Capwolf.
Well, they can have appearances, right? They just can't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to have Peter Parker in a lot of it. Like maybe he shows up in an episode
because he's not a major player in Spider Island, right? They all think he's dead, but it's May. It's May, isn't it?
Everyone gets the spider powers, and it's like a big disaster.
Yeah, I think that would work as like a nice little short 5-part series.
Surprisingly, that's a really good run in that era of Spider-Man. That was not very good.
Yeah, and I think that's why I went. I wanted to get something like, you know, I had 2 big ones. I want to get something a little bit more obscure in there, and I really enjoyed that Agent Venom run. And that's it for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna team up on something when Putty's done. But
all right,
are you sure you don't want to do yours, Campo, and do mine last?
No, you go.
No, you're gonna do yours now.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Age of Apocalypse.
This is how I would introduce Deadpool to the MCU.
Again,
Disney just allowed me to do it. So, Deadpool would come through the portal, aka the Doctor Strange movie, and he overhears that someone is going to have to take a certain universe out from existence. It's colliding, it's bad, but no one wants to do the dirty work. Now, this is a story that you actually brought up before, Campo, but I figured this is going to be integral to the later part of this as well. So Deadpool volunteers after overhearing, and both Cable and Domino are with him. So they go along with him, which would be the next movie would be Deadpool, Cable, Domino basically kill the Marvel Universe. All right. So of course, this may be a topper if Rob Liefeld was there and he doesn't realize that he's like, you know, because he's the creator, but Deadpool doesn't realize he's the creator. So he comes in, you know, he says like dad and everything, but then realizes that he allowed his mouth to be sewn shut and shoots him in the head, just like he does the writers in the comics. You know what I'm talking about, Campo. Anyway, my point is, and maybe even we could do a little Age of Apocalypse and add the characters. Maybe Jamie Chung is. Okay, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, let's continue. Anyway, after he accomplishes his goal, he is then wiped out by Scarlet Witch. Again, this is for one of my fans. In return, he finally dies and meets death. Now, after his brush with death, which of course, by the way, that was actually from this comic book right here, Brush with Death. Anyway, so brush with death and everything, and he ends up because of his brush with death. Death will not let him die. That's where we get the immortal version of Deadpool and everything else. And after his brush with death, he's sent back to Earth by way of the multiverse, where then he meets his variants of himself. He meets Lady Death. He meets Kid Deadpool. He meets Dogpool. Yes, and they all become Deadpool Corpse. All right, so we get a little maybe Deadpool Corpse side movie that continues on. Now again, this causes problems in the multi-universe. And in return, the Watcher knows this, and before then the Watcher gets mad. So then Deadpool travels to the past with Blind Owl because Cable and them go back, but Blind Owl gets sucked in, and so from that. Blind Owl and him have to take cover as Peter Parker and Aunt May, which basically messes up the Tobey Maguire universe. So like maybe we'll have a moment where Deadpool where
isn't the Tobey Maguire Aunt May dead?
Yes. So basically what he does
like in real life.
Huh? Oh, no. Wait, I know what you're saying. I'll get you. Well, that's my point. Because this would actually, in this one, with this, he would actually kill, or he would stop Tobey Maguire from dancing, kill the Topher Grace Venom, and then tell him that he broke Donna's heart and ruined that.
They could do that. They could pull it off, JD.
Exactly. And I mean, who leaves the hot girl like that, Donna, for Africa? I mean, it's an admiral, but again, it's freaking Donna. Come on. Anyway, again, I'm not done. And then he pulled forward to take responsibility for his mistakes. And in that universe, he has to be babysat. So he comes back, has to be babysat, and he is stuck with Clinton Barton and Kate Bishop. That's where we get the Deadpool and Hawkeye storyline. So, of course, they all become good friends. But if you remember, Deadpool actually gets introduced into the Avengers storyline. So what ends up happening is, since Captain America is not around, Clinton Barton is the one that feels that Deadpool has a chance or could be an integral part to the Avengers and convinces them to let them join. The problem is now that Tony Stark is dead, there's no money involved to keep the Avengers alive. So that breaks in Deadpool, where because of his ability to break the fourth wall, he realizes that his merchandising with Disney has him on his forces with the hasn't they're making money basically. So he forces Kevin Feige to allow him to fund the new Avengers Unity division, where then they encounter the super adaptoid. And now people are not aware, but now since the whole Rogue and Professor X storyline, where he's able to take Rogue's mind, now they've destroyed the whole universe from the Fox universe. He could take the helmet that Magneto had and actually use it to help out Rogue, because she's now been established in that world. And that is when he can actually stop Super Adaptoid from actually taking over the mind. Again, we're kind of mixing up storylines. And again, I also want to bring in, since we might even get Superior Iron Man, he brings in the teleportation belt for him. Honestly, this is where things get a little bit crazy. So I just kept on adding and stacking things. My point to the whole thing is,
this is where it gets a little crazy. You're like 17 movies deep at this point.
My point,
you built your own universe, not just a
exactly. This is my point. This is how crazy they could go with Deadpool and have so many fun. But the reason I bring this up is because of one reason. If you notice, the one thing Deadpool is great is his team ups. He now has Hawkeye, Death, Deadpool, the Deadpool Corp, Spiderman, kinda, and again, he also has this relationship.
Deadpool and Hawkeye is actually a really good combo.
Yeah, and you see what I'm saying? But again, it's a little bit crazy out there. I even had some more fillers in there, but I thought I was going a little too long. But yeah, I just really want a good way of bringing Deadpool in, where they understand his story, but his chemistry with other characters. That's the main thing that he's good at. So
I honestly, like, I'm not even going to bash your thing. The only issue I have with it is it's way too much. Like, you would never be able to pull it. You went from one movie, it sounded like, to like you're on like movie number 19 at this point. And you have too many big characters.
It's 20 years deep.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
and
pretty much what
I just want to make you happy so that you know, because I don't think you do. Deadpool 3 just announced their director, Sean Levy from Free Guy, today.
What? Wait.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you live in the middle of the stream. I didn't send it to the thing on purpose.
I wonder how I feel about that, actually, because I like Free Guy.
Well,
I don't know.
It's mostly because Ryan Reynolds decided that he wanted to work with him again. So
okay, what happened
the last guy was the one that went to do Tim Miller. That went to do.
No, Tim Miller was part one. Tim Miller didn't do work.
Oh no, Tim Miller did the first one, and the second one was the guy who did.
It was
the new Terminator movie.
Oh, Genesis.
Yeah, no, not Genesis. The Dark Fate.
Dark Fate.
Both Deadpools had different directors, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold on, Deadpool 2. It was David Leitch.
Okay.
Tim Miller went to do Dark Fate, and that's why they had to switch directors. Got it.
But I will say this: there were some key points in this that I felt like they have open areas, like the variants. Now that we have so many variants, Deadpool Corp is entirely possible. There's so many key moments in this that the reason I made this whole thing so extravagant is. The reason I brought up is because there's so many key moments that they can play with. Like the reason I brought up the whole Spider-Man or the Bully Maguire thing is there was the whole story with Blind Owl where they both dressed up as Spider-Man, and that is a great way for you can go in and have some fun in the Spider-Man world.
But the problem with that is that Sony is not going to let you do that.
I know that's my dream part, but that's my whole point, though.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of your stuff is solid. It's just you have too much, and if you're gonna do Deadpool Core, it has to be done as an animated show, I think, because and a lot of those characters are like not very popular, and they're not gonna let you use Gwenpool for the reason that they're gonna do Spider Gwen.
Yeah, I already knew about that. Gwenpool is not going to happen, even though I love her. But I knew that one happened. I just feel like Deadpool Corp is a lot more because you could get.
If you do that as an animated show, or even if you did it in the style of MODOK and you made that would be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be true,
I think that would work. Yeah,
because then you would the blood would be a lot easier to pass by because it's not as like gory when it's like a bunch of little action figures.
Well, now that I think about it too, the thing is with that, you could also, since they're counting what if as part of the universe, you can still count Deadpool Corp as part of the universe. So if they wanted to bring in any of the characters, like have the dog come in, they still could, or have Squirrel Pull or any of them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just I just would love to see a live action. I just want to see a Lady Deadpool. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to see a live action Lady Deadpool.
Well, hopefully you get it. But okay, so I'm going into mine. My original one was something different, but I'm gonna save that for a second. So I'm gonna use this one because it's short and it's easy. I want to see a proper Old Man Logan, with the new Wolverine that they choose, because now they have Hawkeye and they have the Hulk, and I want to see that, because Logan, yes, is Old Man Logan, but it's not the real story. It's not even close.
No, it was a great movie, but
amazing. Yeah. But I think you could do this, and you could do this as like, you could do it pretty easily too, because it takes place so far in the future that it doesn't affect anything that's happening now. Like, you could even consider this as a what if story, and it's a big enough story that you can do it as a movie. It doesn't need to be a contained like show, one episode of a show. Like there's so much here to unpack, and I'd love to explore that universe a lot. But that's my third pitch. So the reason I did that was my extra one in case someone picked the same thing as me. But me and JD both said Annihilation. And I think you were like, I kind of want to pick this because it's more obscure, but I think Annihilation is super obscure, and anyone who doesn't read comics will know nothing about it. And it's basically a space war that has none of the big X-Men or Avengers characters. It's mostly centered around Nova, and you have Thanos, Silver Surfer, Drax, Super Skrull, Peter Quill, Drax, Ronan the Accuser, Drax, and it's basically I said Drax. And then it leads to the formation of the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but wasn't Nova announced already? Or was something?
No, it got canceled.
It got canceled. Originally, wasn't like years ago. Wasn't what's his name? Fillion. Wasn't he in talks to play?
I don't know, but I do know that they did around the time when they announced that they were doing the Inhumans. They announced that they were working on a Nova idea, and it never panned out. But it's a popular character that has nothing going for him, and the space element of Marvel is not explored. And once again, it's something you could do with to introduce new characters, but also it doesn't hurt the main universe because it's so far away where this is happening.
Yeah.
And obviously this wouldn't happen now, but I think it's such a different story. And like JD, I don't know if you have anything you want to say about that too, because you had the same idea.
I like how it's like in the comics, it was like a countdown, and each episode, if you do it as a TV series, you can count down each episode kind of thing, because, there was minus 41, minus 40, minus 7,
like 24,
and kind of do it like that way. And I think that would be a really, really cool concept until like an actual Annihilation Day happens. I think it would work great as a TV series.
Yeah, and it introduces an important character. It changes up the whole dynamic for Guardians. You can always remove Thanos and Ronan and put in people that I don't know if Ronan's still alive actually, but
Ronan is still alive, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can always replace Thanos with somebody else, like maybe Kang, or like
not even Kang. Who else is anyone? Like even bring back Ego.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah, no. I was gonna say, yeah.
It's got to be somebody else, but Eagle is one of the worst villains in the history of the MCU.
That's true. Would it be a good way to maybe
until the last minute?
You know what? Would it be a good way to introduce Galactus?
Maybe because you're going to get Silver Surfer.
Yeah, right. And Silver Surfer.
You don't have to have Galactus as the main person of this, but you can use this as a way to introduce Galactus, and maybe this is how Silver Surfer becomes his hero.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll see. You could fit in the whole storyline to where maybe it's because again you're going to have the offshoot, so maybe it's also another way that you can introduce the whole storyline of Silver Surfer in his home planet. You know what I mean? Because then you can again, there's already Annihilation happening.
You know what? And the thing is too, in the storyline, Drax's DNA gets altered. So because if Dave Bautista does not want to come back as Drax, that's a good excuse to recast him too.
Yeah, it is. And it gives you some wiggle room for a lot of that stuff. And like I said, you have to start introducing characters faster. I mean, maybe not like the Batman type of fast, but like they kind of do. And you know what? When I was looking at comics, I read that were a little bit different and out there and stuff. I completely forgot about this, and like now I feel stupid. But I think you could make a really good TV show out of the Dan Slott Silver Surfer run from Marvel Now. Where it was like really adventurous and kind of comedic, and it wasn't so much about superheroing. It was just like a big, huge adventure with Silver Surfer and a girl from Earth. Well, she becomes more than that, but I think there's a lot of stuff on the table Marvel could do, but I like everybody's ideas. I just think your Deadpool idea ended up becoming its own like universe instead of a movie.
Well, I had another one. The one thing I want to say, and I'm gonna throw this as like I guess an honorable mention. It was I love the idea if they go back to Spider-Man as he gets older and does college. And since we're establishing Morbius this year,
it's like a porno. Spider-Man does college.
Yeah, right. But we have Morbius being established and everything in this movie, and we also have Blade coming up. And maybe down the road, the whole thing with Spider-Man and Morbius happens, and maybe even lead in, or even you could even lead into them fighting, and then have like hints at like Blade at the end, even maybe hinting to his movie. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but we have.
I think they're doing, thanks to the Eternals, I think they're doing the Blade, Ebony Knight type, Dark Knight type, not Dark Knight, what's his name? Black Knight type of team up. I think they're going in that direction.
So wait, Mahershala Ali talks in that scene.
Yeah.
But are you saying so the way they're going, it won't be possible down the road? I mean, I guess it'd be way too
it might be possible down the road, but as of right now, that looks like they're doing that Blade Black Knight.
Unless you kind of hybrid that, because Morbius is
the Blade,
in the Sony
the
universe.
Blade, but the Blade is also the Ebony Blade. That is the guy who creates the Ebony Blade. Isn't he like the head of all the symbiotes or something like that?
Yeah, and remember they actually have the Ebony Blade. Remember in the Eternals, remember the Ebony Blades at the end. So it's a connection that keeps going everything around. So
take this in. Morbius is Sony's universe, okay? Mm-hmm. The Tom Hardy universe, okay? Mm-hmm. So what you do is, instead of having college, you have adult Peter Parker, who's Andrew Garfield, okay? And obviously we're not going to let things get mixed up with the MCU, but let's just say Wesley Snipes comes back as Blade in that universe.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Because you could do that. I'm sure Wesley Snipes would want to reprise it, and I'm sure Marvel would be like, well, we kind of have shown that we have shattered dimensions going on. And it won't affect
Spider-Man.
It doesn't affect us at all to let you do that. You can have a Blade be in your universe because now you have Andrew Garfield, who's adult. He's scientist Peter Parker that works at what's the place where he works? Oh my god,
Roxxon or Oscorp.
No, he works with that guy, the red hair guy. Shit, the hell's his... I don't remember what it's called. I'm gonna look it up. You guys talk.
Well, the other thing great about that is that this would give also a conflict between Andrew Garfield and Wesley Snipes Blade, because the thing is, Andrew Garfield's like, we can find a cure for him. While of course Wesley Snipes is like, we got to kill him.
Horizon Labs.
Horizon Labs. Okay.
Okay, sorry, Putty, go.
No, it's fine. But that would create a great back and forth chemistry where they're both trying to do good and stop somebody. And at the same time, I don't know how they're going to build this Morbius story out, but the way it's looking, they are going to push him towards a bad guy scenario. I don't know, because he's kind of like Venom in that way. You know what I mean?
You could have Peter Parker trying to come up with a cure for him, and you can have Blade trying to kill him, and it gets crossed up. This is actually a pretty good idea.
We're actually getting really good into this one.
We're getting good at this point, but
I should have brought this one up earlier, because for some reason I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Because I truly believe that could work. Like, your idea just like clicked in my head, and I was like, wait, you could totally do this.
Yeah, that's more feasible.
Yeah, because he does, like, in that era of Spider-Man, like right before Superior Spider-Man, he was a full-on adult. There was no college. He was like 30 years old. His marriage was over with Mary J.
Yeah, he's already divorced, bitter old man.
Yeah.
But I found this episode harder to do than the DC one, because so many Marvel storylines
have been done.
but not properly.
No,
in my opinion.
But DC owns their whole thing. That's number one.
Yeah.
And number two, DC kind of just does something and then waits and then redoes the same thing again. Where Marvel is like, they did something, but they couldn't do the whole thing. And then they're trying to recorrect some of those things.
Well, it's like they wanted to do Planet Hulk, where essentially Thor Ragnarok was half Planet Hulk.
Yeah. But you could do World War Hulk.
Yeah,
Hulk.
but see, that's my situation. Even with thing, because you guys did perfectly with the Blade thing. You guys used other characters from the universe, and that's the reason why I even felt like you even said it before, John, and it was perfect when I heard you say it was the whole Deadpool kills the Xmen, the Fox universe. But again, that's way too many actors to do. That would have to be again a what if. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it would have to do this what if scenario.
Yeah.
But the point of the whole thing is there's so many now open strands that are open to lead into something else, but you have to change so many formats because you got to remember when it comes to a lot of the things like the Infinity War, we had Xmen and mutants involved in that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? There's so many storylines that we've had so far that there were mutants and even the Fantastic Four were integral parts that were just left out and filled in with other characters.
Yeah, no, I get that. And see, you're right.
I keep telling viewers because they don't understand it. Rogue came into the Fortnite game and they were like, oh, an X-Men character and everything, but they had no idea about the whole Miss Marvel connection and her relationship with Mystique and Nightcrawler, about the family relationship. And there's so many integral parts that when
Rogue is pushed though to the forefront because of the animated series. Without that, Rogue never becomes popular.
I know, but my point, the whole thing is they're trying to push her out. But like I said, they actually made the Gambit and Rogue skins in there. They're trying to push those ideas out to get more familiarity, which I'm happy about. But now it's like, what do? Are we going to kill off? I'm gonna be honest with you. If they were to kill off Captain Marvel and have Rogue take her powers, you guys have to agree with me. That would be amazing to have that.
I would like to see them take Captain Marvel down the road, which it kind of looks like they're going, where she in the comics with her run in Marvel Now. Not like this time, it's called Marvel Now, where she builds her own team like Guardians of the Galaxy. She goes around to planets and picks up all these ragtag people and they build this team. Okay, but listen, we're going to run out of time. So I'm going to say a thing and I'm going to shut the video off right after that. So everyone watching, like, comment, subscribe, and all this.
Even in a bottle, Iron Man.
We go back to our Spider-Man story, okay? The movie ends. Blade's like walking off and like you hear a voice and all it says is it's time for you to atone for your sins, Blade. And then you hear a Nicolas Cage laugh, and then the movie ends. And thank you for watching. Go check out their channels, and peace out.